It's Deprogram, the podcast where we try to get you into a band. That's right. We've done all the work for you. All you have to do is press play and listen. And if you would have heard the previous take, you would know that I'm crying a little bit because I like things to go smooth. You know, it's always chaotic here, but it's not always pretty. It's not always perfect. I'm not crying. It's not pretty. It's not perfect. I'm pulling the pin. It's Pinhead Gunpowder we're talking about on the show today. Finally. I was talking to David a little bit before the show, John. I know this one's been on the board for a really super long time. I can't remember how it came up in conversation between us, but I know it's probably at least been, 4 years, I think. 4, maybe. Oh, yeah. 4, maybe even 5. I feel like we were probably having a conversation about Green Day, and you said, hey, what about this? So,
yeah.
Pinhead Gunpowder. Talk to me about Pinhead Gunpowder, how it came to be, and why you felt like we needed to talk about them today.
Oh, man. I mean, how long do we have? I could go on for hours. I mean, Pinhead Gunpowder is just one of my favorite bands of all time. I was first exposed to them on commercial radio. Actually, there was a show on the station here, 99X, used to be called On the Edge, and this guy it would be like late at night, and the DJ comes on. He's, it was the cover of Big Yellow Taxi.
Wow.
And I was immediately like, oh, this is probably 1993, 1994, like right after Green Day had broken. And I was like, oh, that sounds like incredible. Like, what is the name? The guy comes on. He's like, oh, that's Green Day side project, Pinhead Gunpowder. And I'm like, yeah, like I was immediately intrigued because like I was a Green Day super fan, like every other 15-year-old in 1993. So, and then that got me into like, Lookout Records and digging into that. And like, it just became this like obsession with me. Like they were one of the first bands that I really wanted to know everything. And it's kind of mysterious because they don't play shows and they don't tour. But like it starts out as like, oh, the guy from Fuel and the guy from Crimpshrine and the guy from Green Day who wasn't big in 1991 and the bass player from Monsula. And it's just these friends that have this band for fun. But then the music that the four of them make is like this perfect like mix of pop punk and just all the other influences that they bring in. Like the original guitarist, Sarah Kirsch, who was born Mike at the time, was like more into hardcore, and so there's that influence of it. And then Aaron is like an incredible songwriter and drummer and has like this unique style. And then you throw in what Billy Joe can do with his melody, and then the bass playing with Bill Schneider, who's one of the guitar techs for Green Day. Like he's been on Green Day's crew for the last 25 years. And then, Mike leaves and Jason comes in, and, Jason has this like replacement-y kind of more like rock sensibility, and he's been in all these other bands. And so I got into them pretty obsessively right after that. And like they only had the one CD out, the Jump Salty CD, which was a collection of stuff. And then it was like, oh, they all have these like other bands. And then it was like, oh, you got to get into Torches of Rome, and then you got to get into, all this other stuff, and Crimpshrine and all the Comet Bus bands, Shotwell Coho and Munt and like all this other stuff. And so I just kept going deeper and deeper into it. And it's just they even have this like, for a side project band, they even have like a unique style, that kind of rhythm that they have to their songs that is like unique to them. Like, when you hear a Pinhead Gunpowder song, I'm like, yes, it's not Green Day, but it's like, in my mind, it's like what the perfect encapsulation should be with what Billy Joe can do, like melodically and songwriting. And I just think they're the perfect band.
Wow.
Amen.
Yeah, more on this next round. So we're bringing in David. So John messages me and goes, "Hey, my guitarist in my old band, his new band has this other guitarist. That guy wants to do the show." He goes, his name is David, and this was like what maybe 2 weeks ago. So
Yeah.
so here we are. David, you got roped into it, and here you are to talk about Pinhead Gunpowder, but you seem up to the task. Talk to me about Pinhead Gunpowder and why you wanted to be here today.
Well, it's actually kind of funny. The first time that I met John, I was wearing a Pinhead Gunpowder shirt,
That's
and
right.
he goes, "Hey, you!" It was at a record thing, and he had this booth, and he was like, "Hey, come over here. I've got a ton of stuff you're gonna like." So, anyway, and he was right. So, but yeah, I've been into them since my favorite band is Green Day, and has been since Green Day was a thing that I discovered in elementary school. And I guess I haven't matured past anything or whatever. But as soon as I discovered that Pinhead Gunpowder was a band, it was, I think at that point I was in the ninth grade. So that was like 2000. Sorry if that makes you feel old or young or whatever age you are. But so they had, a good bit of stuff out at that point. I think maybe the only thing they didn't have out were what the last couple of 7 inches, Compulsive Disclosure, maybe.
Yeah.
But I at that point the internet was still kind of the Wild West, so you couldn't just get everything right away, um, and so I went to the record store in town and got Jump Salty ordered, and then whatever job I had, I probably could only afford that for 6 months or something. So I got that, and then I remember we didn't have internet at my house, but we had it at school, and I was doing this HTML class, and it was pretty much just like learn HTML, which was easy at that age. And so the rest of the day we were just fucking off. And I remember Yahoo used to have this thing where you could check out bands and you could play this like 10-second clip of some stuff. It was it was limited. And I remember listening to, because that was the only Pinhead Gunpowder I'd heard was Jump Salty. So the only thing they had on there was Backyard Flames, and it was the same 10-second clip, and I would listen to it every day because that's all I had, And I remember thinking, like, whatever the rest of this song is, it's got to be great. Mm-hmm. And I've got to find the rest of their stuff. And I eventually found it all. And then Compulsive came out in real time, and that was the first one that I got that was like, okay, like, this is coming out. So I eventually came to love them almost as much as Green Day. I don't really, there's no real comparison to them or anything. It's just one's one band and one's another super fucking awesome band. I think that the way I've described Pinhead Gunpowder to people without using the term Green Day, because that can make them feel one way or another, is I just say that, they sound like they are the funnest good punk band there is. Like, there's not a song that they have that doesn't sound like they're having a ton of fun playing it. And it's always high energy, and it's not, it's not just fast for fast's sake, even though most of their songs clock in under a couple minutes usually. But it doesn't ever feel that way. You never feel like they're just blazing through something and it's, just some cut time song and all of a sudden it's over, which those are fun too. Like, they really do get in a lot of stuff in a couple of minutes. So anyway, I'm not really sure if I explained how I got into there, but I love them. So.
And you mentioned the releases too, like, it was such a huge momentous occasion, like, that you would even get a hint of like a new Pinhead Gunpowder song, like, or an album. Like, I remember when every time they released something, you'd be like, oh, well, that's it. Because, like, Green Day's obviously busy doing things and everybody has their other bands. But, when Shoot the Moon came out, I think it was 1999 or 2000, like, that was a huge deal. I can remember, like, being so excited to hear 7 Pinhead Gunpowder songs, and then you go a few more years, and it's like, oh, well, they're just dormant. Like you get nothing for years,
Hmm.
and then a rumor would pop up and be like, oh, here we go. And I think 2008 was the last one, the West Side Highway 7-inch. And now, like, it's been 15, 16 years, and now there's rumors again that like there's going to be a new Pinhead Gunpowder record this year. And like Jason has gone on and said like, yeah, we recorded something. He played a new song at an acoustic show in California last year. So it's like that's going on again. Like, and all the records were reissued this past year. So it's like, oh, now it's like that's going on again. So it's bringing back all of this nostalgia for me. Like, oh, like I can't wait to hear like these new Pinhead Gunpowder songs. Like it's coming.
Yeah, something's happening. I mean, it's got to be. So, you know, we'll stay tuned until it does, and the minute they announce it, we'll be chomping at the bit.
Oh my God, yeah, of course.
So this is interesting. It's been an interesting year for you, John. I feel like normally the way it goes is I'll put the panel together and John will be like, all right, I got the list, and he'll have his 20, and he basically won't say anything except for like, he'll banter about the band a little bit maybe, but won't say nothing. And, eventually I'll come in, oh, my first pass was this, and this. A couple times this year, John has kind of chimed in on my passes, my cuts were hard. This is the first time that I can remember where, John, you said, I don't know how I'm going to do this one, because I believe you said you basically implied that you were going to have to flog yourself to get to your list. So, I mean, you said this was basically brain busters. Usually you're so cool, calm, collected. Is it really just you're that close to this discog? I mean, you did say they're like a top 5 band.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I think the quiz, I think I have to spend at least 48 hours agonizing and second guessing over my picks. Then I'll feel like I've earned it.
There you go.
Because this one didn't feel like I could just go through one pass and listen and then be like, okay, because again, and we've done a lot of these too, where the catalog is so deep, and like, how do you pick between song A and song B when I've loved them for 30 years and like I've listened to them 20,000 times. It's like it's hard work, and there's not like, and they're so consistent. Like I said, they stuck to what they do because it's just a side project. They have these other bands that they get out what they do, and then they come there to do this one thing. And it's really good, and it's all very consistent. Like there's not any filler on these records, because a lot of them were just 7-inches and little things here and there. So yeah, I mean, I think it's 55 songs it worked out to be.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this was brutal. There was a lot. I mean, yeah, normally I get my 20 and then I stick to it, but there was a lot of going back and forth, and like, oh, like, what am I going to do about this song? And there's still some. I mean, this is going to be one of those, I think, if you remember the Weaker Thans when we did Justin, that was like every one that I didn't have. It was like, oh, I'm just going to go curl up in the fetal position in the corner and just let me know when it's my turn again. Like, it's going to be excruciating, because I know there's going to be some songs that I love that aren't going to make it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, to your point, like, it's only 55 songs, but this really is like the definition of any song really probably could be on it. So this being your first time here, David, like, is this a tough one to start with? Like, did you have a rough go getting your 20 together? You didn't seem too shook in the chat.
I put up a good game. It would have been easier if I was told to pick 5.
Oh, okay.
I could pick 5 and be like, okay, this is fine. Because there's something about that for me where, I don't know what my favorite Pinhead Gunpowder song is, but I know what 5 of my favorite are. 20. Well, God, these guys, I couldn't tell you a song that they have that's bad or like that's not good. Like everything is good. So, um, so yeah, doing 20 was kind of tough. I made it through 10, and that was easy enough. And then the next 10, that's when it got tough. And then the next day, I was cycling stuff in and out, and then I got into super obsessive Pinhead Gunpowder listening mode even more because I'd been doing it so long, and I was watching all this stuff on, well, not all this stuff on YouTube. Just there's there's a concert on YouTube. I don't know how many they have, like 3, 2, who knows? But I watched that over and over, and I texted John about it, and of course he had seen it a million times, and that kind of swayed me a little bit too, because then I'm watching them play it, and it's like, holy shit! Wait, no, this is great. This has to go on there. This has to. But what goes off? All right, this goes off. But wait, so there was some agonizing, and yeah, I had to really tell myself, because I've listened to the show, I had to make sure that I stuck with something that represented their entire catalog, which is easy because everything, once again, I mean, it's consistent. So that's not really a big deal. But, it would be one thing to just stick Jump Salty start to finish, because that's what I listened to forever and until I got into the other stuff. But I mean, we're talking about a couple of years. But it wouldn't be right, because everything is great. And I think all the picks that I did, there's a pretty fair balance. I'm not over favoring anything, and I mean, I'm not going to give it away early, obviously, but I think I did a pretty good job of representing most things. But yeah, it was a little tough.
So
I let John be the one to make it known that it was hard.
Yeah. So again, I don't want to act like it was backbreaking work, because to your point earlier on, David, it's fun. Like, it's 55 songs. It's just a little over an hour and a half. Like, I was able to do this, like, one day work was slow, and I was like, all right, and next thing I know, it's over. And I was like, well, to your point, like, it doesn't feel like they're like just blazing through it. It just feels like they're having fun, and time flies when you're having fun. So, I don't even know if I put my first pass in there, because I don't even know if it was worth it, because, I just was really, the first pass is all 55. Like, it's really just kind of measuring out per album, measuring out, the feels, like what, trying to measure out sounds. I know that, like, towards the end, when I'm trying to get to those last couple, I definitely, unfortunately, weighted negatively Billy Joe songs, just because they were clearly Billy Joe songs. You know what I mean? Like, trying to not directly go, oh, by the way, yeah, this is the guy from Green Day. Because even though those songs are great, again, this is one of those situations where you're just looking for anything to get down to that last 20. So I do feel like it's agreeable, but I feel like gameplay is about to be brutal. Like, I feel like we're going to get to our 10 just fine, because I feel like we're agreeable gentlemen. The discography is agreeable, but I feel like there's so much wiggle room in only 55 songs, an hour and a half, that we might be all over the place. So, John, based on everything we've just said, how many do you think we get through unanimous?
Yeah, I think I've been on a good streak of trying to be a little more optimistic, and it's come close to working out. So I'm gonna hope that this is the one that it sticks on. I'm gonna say 7.
I like it. To be clear, it should. You know what I mean? It should. Me being the wild card here. David, what do you think?
Oh man. I was gonna go with 6,
Mm.
just because I thought I was being optimistic. But um, I'm gonna go with 6 just to keep it kind of tight there.
Trying to Price is Right me on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. 301. What a dick.
All right. Well, I guess so. Here we go again. The never-ending dilemma of Justin. Do I undercut? Do I go? I mean, my favorite answer is right there, or do I overcut? Again, the discography. Like I would not be surprised if we blast past 10. I really wouldn't. I don't think gameplay is going to allow that, but I feel like the discography supports that, if that makes sense. All right, I'm gonna go 5. I don't like it, but it's there. It's down the middle. I feel like it's there.
You don't have to pick one. It's your show. You could be like, I abstain.
I know, I know, but also, I feel like it adds a little something, and
Okay.
and people enjoy it when I get it, when I don't want it. So, all right,
Sickos, man.
I know, right? The internet be interneted. All right, we're gonna take a quick pause, and when we come back, we're gonna play the game. It's the program. And with that, the name of the game is Deprogrammed. The three of us have combed through the Pinhead Gunpowder discography, easy enough for me to say, and plucked out 20 songs that we're now going to mash together in an attempt to create a top 10 starter kit for you, in case you have never listened to Pinhead Gunpowder. What a time. Again, this can't, before we even get into any list building, it should be noted, if you're here, and if you've gotten this far, yes, listen to the rest of this, listen to our 10, but I do think it's worth your time, an hour and a half, to listen to the entire list, because it's fun. But we are here to make a list, so I got to start somewhere, and I'm going to start here. How about Future Daydream?
No.
Yes.
Okay. Not into the bin right off the jump. Okay. That's all right. 2.
Great song. It's a great one. It just did not make it.
I'll tell you what, if you make a mark of every time you say that on a miss,
Oh, yeah.
it's going to happen a lot. All right. John?
All right, I'm going to go with the one I think Billy Joe is quoted as saying this was his favorite song, Beastly Bit.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite.
Well, I love that you guys have that. I don't have it. I was listening to that just before we went on, and I almost was trying to find space for it. So that's good to hear that I was on the right track. I just should have pulled the trigger. All right.
Yeah, I love that song.
Oh, yeah.
I had I promise I won't have a story for every single one of these. We don't want to turn a band of 55 songs into forever podcast for everybody, but
No, we do.
oh, good. I had before I had Jump Salty, I had a friend who had like Kazaa or whatever at the time, and he had always, I could burn you whatever, man. And I remember being like, just find all these bands, and he had a Pinhead Gunpowder song on this mix, and it was Beastly Bit, and it was the whole song, and it cuts out right before the green-haired girl part.
Oh,
Dude, I had no idea. It was just like, it just goes, yeah, and it cuts. And so I did not know about the awesome payoff of that for a very long time.
Wow.
I mean, maybe a year or something. Wow. And I would listen to it all the time. And anyway, that's a great one.
I love that. All right, David, where do you want to go?
I'm gonna go for losers of the year.
I got it.
Yep.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, that's I don't know
Yeah.
if that is what represents them the most to me, or whatever, because it's just like I said, I can't pick a favorite. But if somebody were to ask me what to play for them, that would be the first one.
Did you watch the show? I think it might have been the Starry Plow show where, I mean, they played less than 20 shows in their whole history. But before Losers of the Year, Aaron had a little turntable by the drums. And
Yeah,
he
yeah.
played Surrender, and people were talking. Billy Joe was like, "Shut the fuck up! We're trying to do something here." And like
turn the drummer's mic up.
yeah,
Turn it
like
up as loud as it will go.
so they play the clip, and then Righty like does the record scratch and like kicks it off, and they kick in the song. Oh, it's so good.
Dude, the drumming in the second half of that song, I don't think I've ever given it as much attention until now. It is the most fucking kick-ass drumming. He does so many different things. He's a great drummer, and he's pretty erratic in like all the right ways. And what he does at the end of that song after the kind of the little break is so cool. I can't even like put it into a whole lot of words, but if you haven't spent any time really giving it a listen, just as far as the drums go, it's worth checking out.
You know,
He's all over the place.
You know, it's crazy that this went in unanimously. This was literally, I made 2 last-minute ads today.
Oh, wow.
And this was one of them. Because I cut it, again, you know, I told you I was looking for reasons, you know, the fact that it was a Billy Joe song was the reason it got cut. And when I was re-listening to it, I was like, no, that's not right. I need this on the list. And the worst part is I feel like it was one of my favorites on the first go. So the fact that
And it encapsulates that feeling. Sorry. It captures that feeling of like being 25 and you're like, man, like what am I'm got this life of like where all my friends from like high school have gone away and like what happened to all those people, and like it perfectly encapsulates that feeling of being in your 20s and like not knowing what the fuck you're gonna do.
Love it. All right. Let me try something else here. How about Life During Wartime?
Oh yeah.
Of
That's
course.
me.
Hey.
That's my number one. This is my all-time favorite
Wow.
Pinhead Gunpowder song.
That is it's maybe their best riff
Yeah.
from a guitar player standpoint. As far as like, I mean, it's just, yeah, great song.
I'm always worried about picking, you know, track ones because I feel like I'm always track one guy. But if a track one can set itself out different without it just being a track one, like I don't know if that makes sense. But like when I'm listening to like a playlist like this where I'm listening to basically the albums just in order, like if I can make a leap like this to Life During Wartime where it sounds like different enough to know that it's not the same record, but it does sound like it could be on the other record, you've done something. And that's how I know I'm not picking it just because it's a number one, if that makes sense. I don't know that I worded that correctly. All right.
I see where you're going with that.
Life During Wartime is in. John?
All right. This one was one of the last minute, you know, cuts and scratch offs and ads that I did. And it would have been easy to get rid of this one because I, like you know, you're looking for anything to make it easier, and covers are usually a thing that you can be like, okay, well, I'm not going to include this because it's a cover song and they didn't write it, so it probably won't make it. But being that this one is, you know, the first Pinhead Gunpowder song that I ever heard, I already talked about it, hearing it on the radio, and like it's just so good, and I think it adds so much to the song, and coming from them, I had to throw Big Yellow Taxi on there.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad
for sure.
I'm glad it gets a 2. because that was the song I axed for Losers of the Year.
Yeah.
So,
And like
Are
nothing in the trash yet. So great job, everybody.
yeah.
Are they the best at covers?
It's
like
really
some
good.
bands are
Maybe.
so good at like every cover of theirs sounds just like one of their fucking songs.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Aching to Be and Mahogany. Yeah, it's all great.
Yeah, so good on them.
Yeah.
Usually a band, it's just like, oh, they're just blazing through, whatever the hell, Wagon Wheel or whatever fucking song.
All right, David.
Okay, let's see. Is it pretty normal for you guys to just go down your list? I've got them in order of 20, but like I don't know if it really matters.
I go all over the place.
Well, I'm gonna jump around too because that's cool. Let's see. Let's go for I hate to. No. Let's do Before the Accident.
Mm. No.
Eh.
I know.
I love the way he sings it though. Before the Accident.
It's that was a last minute addition for me. When I watched that concert opens with that, and there was something about it. It was so high energy and great. It's a good song, no doubt, but something about watching them play it, it really swayed me. So, anywho, I'm gonna add that to the trash pile.
Bah.
That's okay. It's the good trash. It's like when George Costanza eats the pastry off the top of the trash. It's not bad yet, you know.
All right. Well, I'm looking square at this song, so I might as well say it. How about Backyard Flames?
Oh yeah, I'm in there. More than just 10 seconds of it, even.
No.
All right. We'll take the 2.
Yeah.
All right. The disappointment in John's voice.
No.
You can't take them all, brother. All right.
Yeah.
John?
All right. Let's give Jason some love here because I love Jason. He's a great songwriter. And how about Cabo Gal?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey.
Nice.
Is that a 3?
That's a 3.
All right. Yeah, that's a great one. Great story. It's like lyrically, it's like, oh, what a date. They're going out, they're getting drunk, but then it ends with a fight. Like he sleeps on the floor. We've all been there, but it's kind of just like I love the honesty that these guys have in their songs. The lyrics, it's never this like perfect fairy tale kind of thing. It's always like,
yeah, that's
I'm kind of fucked up, but like,
yeah,
these are cool. Everything's okay, I guess.
All right. Just like that, we're at 3. Moving along swimmingly. David?
Let's see here. I'm gonna go with let's keep on loving on Jason. Let's go for 2nd Street.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Love that song.
There we go.
Yeah, great song.
I love that, of course, because that means I made the right call. That was another. That was the other song I added today.
That's him betraying his replacements' influences.
He could. I remember a long time ago when, early 2000s, there were these rumors of Tim Armstrong replacing a recently deceased Joe Strummer in the Clash, that's what's going to happen. Well, the same thing could happen if Paul Westerberg died. The rumors could just fly with Jason Wyatt replacing him.
Oh, Billy Joe played with him. He played guitar on some of those shows.
Oh, the
reunion, the replacements reunion, yeah.
Oh, well, good. He should.
Yeah.
Fellas, just like that, we're at 4, which means
Jason's got a good life. He's the other guitar player in Green Day, so he's doing fine.
Yeah.
Oh. Just like that, we're at 4. But
man, we're gonna be at 9 here soon. Who knows?
We have to at least pass
nothing
my
in the
5.
trash. Just nothing in the trash.
We We need to pass at least one more.
Well, we've got Before the Accident in the trash, so we're at
Ugh.
one.
Too many.
So let's see. Where am I? Where do I want to go here? All right. How about Porch Song?
Nope, not for me.
No, it's just so different. And it's the screaming, and it just felt like it didn't fit. So that was one that I felt like it was okay to cut.
I get it, but my affinity for less than 30-second songs would not allow me to cut it. So.
And the Donger for St. Patrick reference is very cool too.
It reminds me of like their take on an Avail song or something. Not that that's a bad thing, but yeah. Once again, no bad songs in their list, but it didn't make it from mine.
All
right, John.
All right, let's try At Your Funeral.
No.
Kick-ass song.
That's a surprise. Okay.
I feel like, again, I don't know where they dropped out, but I feel like that was a pretty late cut for me. All right, David?
Oh, let's go with we'll stick with the same album. How about New Blood?
Yeah. I got it.
No.
Yeah, that one's it's funny. That one, comes out in the early 2000s, and it has the big hey, and that was around the time where Green Day started doing the hey in a lot of their songs, and it's like,
right.
And not that's a bad thing. It's just funny, like, who put that in there? So, anyways.
All right. How about Find My Place?
No.
Yes.
All right. This is, I think we just killed NTP. Yep. Worst case scenario. Nobody gets the final say, but everything, all the twos go in. Worst case scenario. All right, John?
All right, let's go back to Jump Salty. How about MPLS song, Minneapolis song?
No.
Unfortunately, I cannot save you.
What?
It's a fucking awesome song. It's an awesome one.
Again, I this adds nothing to the conversation, so I'm hesitant to say it. It was a late cut. I don't know where, but it was definitely on my first pass.
Okay.
All right. David?
Yeah, it did not make it for me. And it was a hard one to not make. That's for fucking sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, we'll keep on going down the list of that. How about Keeping Warm in the Nighttime?
No.
Yes.
All right. We officially have a conversation to go.
I don't know what's going on in the second part of each verse. If there's like some fucking bongos or congas or something, but something is going crazy drum wise or percussion wise, and I always thought it like kind of added to whatever builds into. I don't know if there's really a chorus to the song or not, but anyways, I never really noticed that until doing the deep dive. But there's just some crazy percussion in that song. I don't know what the fuck it is.
How about let's go to Shoot the Moon here. I'm going to go with a song title that made me smile. My Boot in Your Face is What Keeps Me Alive.
No, it got bumped off the list.
Yeah, that was probably 21 or 22.
All right. John?
All right. How about Asheville?
Nope.
No. Tough one. No.
Wow.
I feel
I've
like
been to the Thomas Wolfe Museum. It's worth it.
I feel like we've got to have at least one more in us, right? Although we need at least two, so it's not me. All right, David.
Okay, let's see. Let's go for I'm trying to stay off of Jump Salty. I've got a handful of those, but I've got some other ones too. Let's do I used to.
No.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, that's a fun one. I loved it so much the first time I heard it that
Yeah.
I was in a punk band in high school, and we couldn't tell if we wanted to rip off Bad Religion or the Casualties or something. And I wrote a song called I Used to, just because I was like, that's a great song title. Sorry, guys. Sorry,
Sorry.
people in my band.
I don't know where to go. How about Buffalo?
No Buffalo.
No.
Dang. Okay, John.
All right. How about Landlords?
Yep, it's on mine.
Oh, thank God. That one got the boot for what was the other one? Second Street.
I'm not a big acoustic guy. Always, it takes a lot to win me over. And that one, they're making all the right moves.
Yeah,
agree.
it's a great one.
I don't have to say it. I said I bumped it for Second Street, so it's not like I made the wrong decision. But judging by the rest of my list, I probably could have bumped something else. So who knows?
Right.
All right, David.
I'm gonna go for a song that I consider one of the most punk rock songs of all time, in attitude and everything else, and that's "Dull."
Dang it. No.
I
No
got
Dull.
it.
Okay.
I got
All
it.
right.
Yeah, I
That
love
song,
that one.
it has one of the greatest screams in it, and it also, in the end of it, when they start getting a little chunky with the riffing, there's like some like loogie hawking or something going on in the background. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
or if someone's kicking a trash can. I don't know what that noise is, but that song is so whatever thing that I think punk rock is, that song is that.
Okay. How about Once More Without Feeling?
No from me.
No.
Man, I am torpedoing this thing.
Well, that's a phrase that I say all the time just based on that song title. So, for what it's worth, it's great in its own way.
All right, John.
All right, let's try to hit on one and make Justin uncomfortable. How about 27?
No.
One of the only ones written by Billy Joe. It's on mine.
So we get the two.
Wow.
I know.
John and I are kissing cousins over here.
I know you guys are almost every single one. David.
Let's see here. What do I have left? We're doing pretty good at blasting through them. How about we let's go for anniversary song.
Yeah, I got it.
Yep.
Oh no.
All right.
Oh God. We need one more, fellas. We need one more. One of these days I will just abstain from answering. Just take myself out of the running, but
No, it's your show. You get to make the rules.
Yeah.
You get to do what you want.
All right.
Yeah, Anniversary kind of reminds me of at the beginning, it's like Enjoy era Descendants or something, and then it kicks into their own thing. But anywho,
Yeah. All right. Sitting at 5. Do I have one that I know you guys do? How about I Wanna?
no.
No.
Damn it. Okay, John?
All right. Blink and you'll miss it. Black Mountain Part 3.
No.
No, it's great though. I feel like I just say that every time, but I sincerely mean it.
That's the one when they did live. They played the horn part with their mouths.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
did a great job, by the way.
Great. Yeah. Yeah.
2 horn part.
All right. David?
Let's go for Reach for the Bottle.
Oh, fuck me. No.
No.
Oh,
That one was almost a late minute ad.
that's a great one. Yeah, I just keep saying it because it's true.
I told you.
You'll have to just like make marks after each time I say it. Like, all right, he said it every time. Let's just cross this out of here.
Oh, we were doing so good on the trash early, and
I
now it's
know.
just piling up.
Yeah, well, that's mostly on me.
So many eclairs.
So let's see. What do I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You guys got to be less than that, I guess.
Oh, I got 2.
Yeah, there we go. So I'll just dump out then. Start at the top. High Maintenance.
No.
All right. Swan Song.
No.
Nope.
Walking Catastrophe.
No.
That was 21.
How did I manage? Okay.
You have a completely different 20 than we do.
I know. It's crazy. Mahogany.
No, but I love
No.
it.
All right.
Shout out to Diana Ross.
West Side Highway.
No.
Nope.
God damn it. And last but not least, Junk Pile.
No for me.
No.
How did I do that? How is that possible? Well, I mean, 5 it is. So let's see if you boys can make the conversation a little bit more difficult. What are your last 2, John?
I got Train Station
Nope.
and Without Me.
I got Without Me.
All right. And then Without Me.
Okay. And I've got let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3 left.
Well, just for
Were
fun.
those all yours, John?
Yeah, I'm out.
All right. I've got Brother.
All right.
Love the third verse of Brother where he gets real mad.
Oh yeah, it's a great story arc. So nobody's got that one then.
Nope.
We're all
We're all
out.
out.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll add that to my junk pile. How about Aching to Be?
No, we're all out.
Oh, that's right. Duh. Yeah, we're all out. So there's no point in reading anymore.
No,
Um,
I mean, just for
Oh,
fun.
read them because so
Oh,
I can feel bad.
Aching to Be, and then Benicia by the Bay.
Oh, it's a great.
That one was almost a late ad.
Yeah.
Well, they can't all be winners, even though they're all winners. So
How did I do that? That has to be like the worst I've ever played. I think literally half of my list went into the bin.
well, you guessed the right amount of
Yeah.
right amount of stars, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
So let's start there. The unanimous 5 losers of the year: Life During Wartime, Cabo Gal, Second Street, Anniversary Song. We're off to a great start already. So we got 11 that we need to trim down to 4, and then I'll probably be swayed into picking whatever song for 10. So I'll read these down and I'll ask you, John, first. Future Daydream, Beastly Bit, Big Yellow Taxi, Backyard Flames, New Blood, Find My Place, Keeping Warm in the Nighttime. I Used to, Landlord's, Dole, 27. Is there one that's jumping out at you that we have to have?
I think Without Me is on that list too, because we pulled that one in at the end.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I must not have pushed. There we go. Yeah. I forgot to push enter. So Without Me as well.
But Beastly Bit I think has to be on there.
I agree.
Mhm.
I think so.
I mean, I was the odd man out. It was almost a late minute addition. Seems I would have been right to do so. So, all right, let's push that through. Same question to you, David. Is there one that's kind of sitting there that you're like, man, that really should have gone through?
Nothing in the trash pile. Not for any reason other than there's so many twos that we can pick through that would be sufficient for me. I think Backyard Flames would be great.
All right. What do you think about Backyard Flames, John?
Yeah, I'm looking at the list. I'm trying to think if there's are there 4 other ones that I would push for ahead of it? And yeah, we only have Life During Wartime. Yeah, I'm fine with Backyard Flames.
All right. Boom. All right.
It was good enough for Yahoo Music back in 2001 or whatever the fuck it was.
All right, so that brings us up to 7. And that leaves these 10 that need to get trimmed down to 2. Future Daydream, Big Yellow Taxi, New Blood, Find My Place, Keeping Warm in the Nighttime, I Used to, Landlord's, Dull, 27, and Without Me. How do we feel about the cover? Like, is it Happy to Be Here? I mean, it is a great cover. It was initially on my list. It very much sounds like a Pinhead Gunpowder song. Is the cover part of it weighing harder out, or is the Pinhead Gunpowder part of it weighing more in?
Yeah, I don't think we need it.
There we go. All right. Let's dump that out. Is there a song you feel like, David, that is happy to be here but ready to go home?
So hard. This is where the taxing part comes in for me. I think we could dump out, I don't know, none of them. Landlords could go, I guess. I don't know. I guess.
I could understand.
How about Keeping Warm in the Nighttime or Dull? It's like those are right together on the record, and they're, I won't say similar, but I think they kind of do the same thing. I don't think we would need both of those. Maybe one of those can go.
I wouldn't be bummed about that at all.
Which one are you leaning towards?
Well, probably Dull, from the way David had his little spiel about it. I'm leaning towards Dull.
Leaning towards Dull to be out, or
no, to be in. As much as I love Keeping Warm in the Nighttime.
All right. So what we'll do is we'll push out Keeping Warm in the Nighttime.
What do you think, David?
Yeah, that's totally fine with me.
All right. So let's start making some real decisions here. 2 that got to go in here. Is there one that you kind of want to put forward here at this point, John? Is it time to have that landlords discussion?
No. I think if I had to pick 2, I think I would pick. Oh, it's so hard because Future Daydream is right there. But yeah, I think I would pick Dull and Oh, yeah, I don't know. Get back to me on that one. I'm looking at like I used to is great and deserves to be on there 27, and Future Daydream, Find My Place is great. I think Landlords and New Blood and Without Me are probably a tad underneath in that in the tier two of this for me.
I would agree.
All right. So let's make it a little easier then. Take those out of contention. So if you could pick two songs, David, to take us up to 9, which two would they be that are still around?
Uh,
Do you need me to run down the list one more go?
no, I've got it written down here.
Okay.
You know, I would really love to push Dull through. Um, I'm not gonna die on a hill about it, but um, if it's something that you guys can get behind, that's really cool. I think that one, and I think we
Yeah.
could go with. I mean, Find My Place is great. I mean, those two. God, it's so hard, but I could. I think I could safely, even though Find My Place wasn't on my original list. It's. I mean, it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
It could have found its place there.
Hey-o.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
funny.
I like Dull being on there because that's like an underrated pick. Like you wouldn't have thought that Dull would be on a top 10 list of Pinhead Gunpowder songs, but it absolutely deserves to be. I think that's like a cool like underground pick that we could throw on there and be like, yeah, this is a great song that I think a lot of people skip over in their discography.
Well,
I read a review of a Jump Salty back in the days of Interpunk being like a reputable site, and they would have these reviews under the album. And I remember somebody saying something to the effect of, like, great album. I hate it when the ugly voice person sings.
Ugh.
And all I could think was, well, I love it when the, you know,
Don't be disrespecting Sarah Kirsch like that.
yeah, it's like, I love it when the quote unquote, as they say, ugly voice person sings. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is great,
I'm gonna make them listen to Please Inform the Captain. This is a hijack for a week straight.
yeah, go put on Moss Icon or something.
Yeah.
I mean, don't be a loser.
well, so here's what I'm hearing. Dole is in because you both put it forward as one of your two. So I feel like the conversation's on the other one. It really sounded like you were landing on Find My Place, David. How do you feel about Find My Place, John, being number 9?
Yeah, I mean it's great, and I don't think we have anything from Carry the Banner. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm fine with that.
All right, so we'll make that number 9, and I'll make it easy. Future Daydream will be my final say pick.
Okay, cool.
Great.
As I've mentioned before, I don't know if this is actually track 1, but it is track 1, song 1 on this list. And anytime a band tells me exactly what they are right up front, I'm on board. And anytime I get a chance to get listeners, hey, this is what they do, I'm going to do it. So Future Daydream is our number 10. Let me run this down. Losers of the Year, Life During Wartime, Cabo Gal, Second Street, Anniversary Song, Beastly Bit, Backyard Flames, Dull, Find My Place, Future Daydream rounds out our 10. John, of those 10, which one is the one?
Ugh. Losers of the Year.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
I don't know that I can disagree because, as I mentioned before, when I was listening to it, I made room for it. I usually, that happens every week where I'm listening to a song. I'm like, I've got this, right? No, I don't. But I went through it and was like, no, I need this on my list. So I think that says something. So let's do that, especially since my reason for not having it on the list was stupid. So, all right.
I urge you, go back and listen to that song. Listen to the drumming at the end. I I've been listening to the 20 that I made on a Spotify playlist, just walking around, just taking it all in. And there was one point where I was walking around and I had gotten familiar with all the drumming at that part, and I'm just walking around my neighborhood, just air drumming this crazy bullshit. And I live in this kind of cookie cutter, suburban neighborhood, and I'm sure that people are just looking out their window like, what the fuck is this guy doing? He's walking around. It's hot as hell outside. He's drumming in some thing. Anyways,
love it.
You gotta listen to that part.
So Losers of the Year is our number one. Life During Wartime, Cabo Gal, 2nd Street anniversary song, Beastly Bit, Backyard Flames, Dull, Find My Place, Future Daydream rounds out our 10. Let's let Losers of the Year get a moment in the sun.
Yesterday I saw this one girl.
There we go. We have done it. Again, this is one of those bands. This is one of those episodes where it's the true spirit of the show, like turning people on to a band that they haven't given a chance to. So if you dug this, go listen to Pinhead Gunpowder, dig the band, and then get back to us. The easiest way to do that is by going to Spotify, where there is a Q&A on this episode. It'll ask you, what do you think is essential Pinhead Gunpowder? If you don't know, just answer, hey, I like the episode. And that's how I'll know that you liked the episode and liked what we talked about. Or, you listen to our list and you now have a favorite song. Tell me your favorite song. It's as simple as that. However you want to do it. Engaging with it helps with the algorithm, I'm told, and I've seen it happen with the numbers. So anytime you engage with the algorithm, it definitely helps the show. So you can do that on Spotify for the Q&A. 5 stars would be greatly appreciated. Same thing with Apple Podcasts. 5 stars and leaving a review would be awesome. You can do the same thing there if you like. Hey, I listened to episode X. This is the 20 songs I would have picked. However you want to do it. Just don't be rude about it. That's the one thing that I'd ask. Be nice. I'm just saying. I appreciate you listening, but you ain't got to be mean, man. We're a podcast, which means you can listen on all podcast platforms, of course. If you're listening on legionofstupid.com, my numbers say that some of you are. That's cool. That's the place where you sign up. If there's a band you want to talk about, probably just a little bit above where you're listening right now. You click that, you fill out the little form. It says, hey, I want to talk about this band, and I'll get you in here. Eventually, it'll happen. I try to make it happen as fast as possible. Sometimes, nobody signs up. There's nothing I can do about it. Sorry about that. But I promise you, as a matter of fact, let me add this, because the Discord is something we got to sell here too. If there's a band that you signed up for that nobody else is jumping on, get in the Discord. There is a channel in the Discord, a deprogrammed channel in the Discord, where we have a thread called Finding Panelists. Just jump in there and tell them, hey, I want to talk about this band. Does anybody else? And panels have come together this way. So just, jump on, and that's a way to do it. That's the Legion of Stupid Discord. You can find that via legionofstupid.com. Or by pledging to Patreon, patreon.com/ohhi. Just $1 gets you in the door. It gets you, as mentioned, it gets you access to certain Discord channels. It gets you the after the fact conversation we're about to have. It gets you deprogrammed before the rest of the world. All that great stuff. Occasionally in Oh Hi, just an episode. Whatever extra stuff I can have. Also, you can, if you do that, you can message me and say, hey, I would like, X, Y, and Z audio, and I'll figure out a way to make it happen. I appreciate you having me on board. So that's the Patreon. And we did Legion of Stupid. Also, we're a podcast, listen, rate, review, all that stuff. But the best way you can help is by sharing. Sharing is caring, as they say. And the absolute best is word of mouth, man. Tell somebody that you listen to it. Hey, I listen to Deprogrammed, and you should too. And with that, Pinhead Gunpowder. Learn them and love them, people. We'll see you next week. Bye.